The first update we have today is that The Real Housewives of Salt Lake City Season 7 is already stirring up some major drama. We're hearing about 2 familiar faces who might get completely cut, and another who is absolutely not returning to the show, even with her upcoming prison release. So an insider report about the potential Season 7 lineup has surfaced, and it clarifies who's confirmed and who might be getting a demotion. It looks like 5 major cast members are staying on full-time. That includes Lisa Barlow, Heather Gay, Angie Casanevas, and Mary Cosby. And they'll be joined by the rumored Bronwyn Newport, along with 1 other new full-time cast member. But here's the big shakeup. It's all about Meredith Marks and Whitney Rose. The source says that only one of them will be kept as a full-time housewife. The other will likely be demoted to a friend role for the new season. And it seems producers are already planning for the future, looking for new faces, because they're expecting more people to leave after Season 7. Brittany Bateman will reportedly stay on as a friend, and the cast might have a few more heavily featured friends, kind of like how they do it on The Real Housewives of Miami. And just to be crystal clear about Jen Shah, Andy Cohen has confirmed she will not be returning, not to RHSLC, not to any show he's working on, despite her expected release from prison this month. Before we get into the next update, please make sure you've liked this video and subscribed to this channel. Okay then, let's move on to next update now.
Next, we are going to talk about a recent controversy with Kelly Dodd and her husband, Rick Leventhal. So, a single video from their vacation sparked this huge online outrage, with people accusing them of supporting animal torture for doing what seems like a harmless tourist activity. Here's what went down. Kelly Dodd and Rick Leventhal shared a video riding an elephant in Thailand, and they even named the animal Nina. Kelly defended it, writing that she was happy to help the local economy and that the elephants were well taken care of in what she said was a sanctuary. Well, critics immediately flooded her comments. They were saying things like, "Real sanctuaries do not let people ride the elephants." They really slammed the couple for not researching the practice, which they claim involves separating elephants from their mothers and even torture. So in response to all this criticism, Kelly posted a second video. She called everyone criticizing her hypocrites and told them to take a look in the mirror first. She defended her actions as just doing tourist things and added, "I didn't know anything about what goes on." Rick also emphasized that they contributed to the local economy, but ultimately Rick confirmed they would not be riding an elephant ever again. And Kelly agreed, admitting that the ride was the most uncomfortable ride ever.
So I'm getting a lot of hate because we rode an elephant. It was in a sanctuary, we're in Thailand, when in Rome, you do tourist things. I didn't know anything about what goes on. They said it was a sanctuary that was free from poachers. I don't know. But people are so judgmental, quick to judge us on how dare you. Do you eat meat? Do you eat meat? Do you wear leather? Do you wear leather? Do you wear leather on your shoes?
Do you have belts or shoes with leather?
What's the difference between riding a horse?
You know what? We're never riding an elephant again. Just FYI.
I would never actually ever do it again. It was the most uncomfortable ride ever.
But we also contributed to the local economy and had a very unique experience. And yeah, it's always the people who judge the most.
Yeah, they do the same thing.
Look in the
Hypocrites.
Mirror.
So this was today's update about Kelly Dodd and Rick Leventhal's trip to Thailand. Let's now move on to the next update.
Next, we are going to talk about the huge family reconciliation happening in the Real Housewives of New Jersey drama. It's happening off camera, but a source is calling the whole thing a calculated move. So Melissa Gorga has confirmed it. She and her husband, Joe Gorga, are going to spend Christmas with his sister, Teresa Giudice, and her husband, Luis Ruelas. The big get-together is going to be at Melissa's house, and she made it super clear that absolutely no cameras will be filming. She said the families just, need this time for a healing moment. But is it for real? A source went straight to Radar Online, saying the whole reconciliation feels like a publicity stunt, even without the cameras. This source believes Teresa started the whole thing because she probably figured it was the only way to get the Real Housewives of New Jersey to return, since their years-long feud had put the show on pause. And they're pointing to all the social media evidence, right? Like that recent dinner post with Teresa, Luis, Joe, and Melissa all together. It's proof, the source says, that they want people to see what's happening to get the show back. But here's the thing. Even with this public display of unity, the insider confirmed that no cameras have gone up. The show's return is at a total standstill. Even crazier? The entire cast have been released from their contracts, and the network's hold over them has expired. So this was today's update about the Gorga-Judas reconciliation and the status of the Real Housewives of New Jersey. Let's now move on to next update.
Next, we're going to talk about the really shocking custody battle involving Meghan King and her ex, Jim Edmonds. This story has it all: Child Protective Services, a restraining order, and some pretty serious accusations, including claims Meghan gave one of their children unprescribed medication. So, after all that drama, Meghan King and Jim Edmonds have finally reached a permanent custody agreement for their 3 kids: Aspen, who's 9, and the twins, Hayes and Hart, who are 7. Now, a little background here. Meghan had temporarily lost custody after a CPS investigation was launched against her. And this investigation was really serious. It was centered on allegations that Meghan gave their son Hayes Ritalin without a prescription and even tried to get a school nurse to do the same. So Jim's representative confirmed on December 8th that the scheduled custody hearing was just canceled. They said both sides agreed on terms that were in the best interests of the children. This all follows some really high-stakes tension, including that incident where Meghan reportedly refused to leave Jim and his wife Courtney O'Connor's home in Missouri. That whole thing led to Courtney filing a restraining order, and now Meghan is banned from even speaking about Courtney on social media. So what are the terms of the new deal? Well, the details weren't officially released, but sources close to the situation have said that Jim Edmonds was granted sole physical custody. And Meghan King? She was given supervised visitation. So this was today's update about Meghan King and Jim Edmonds' custody resolution. Let's now move on to the next update.
Next, we are going to talk about a reality star's nightmare that dragged on for 2.5 years, costing her over $100,000 and resulting in crippling anxiety and physical limits, all without knowing what was wrong. Well, Brandi Glanville, who's 53, has finally received a diagnosis for this massive health crisis, which even included a facial disfigurement. I mean, for 2.5 years, this ordeal just completely took over her life. She said it turned her into an introvert, giving her severe anxiety about even leaving her house, and the physical side of it sounds terrifying. She mentioned that sometimes she would sit down and just couldn't get back up, calling it so scary. The mental toll was also really profound, leading to some frightening suicidal thoughts, and she did start taking an antidepressant to cope. So after all that, on December 4th, she finally got the diagnosis. As you can imagine, she's thrilled to finally have an answer. She says she'll be sharing exactly what it is very soon. Now, this doesn't mean it's an easy fix. She said there are multiple things happening and she has a long road ahead to get fully better. But the huge thing is she now knows how to prevent the symptoms from getting worse. So this was today's update about Brandi Glanville's health diagnosis. Let's now move on to next update.
Next, we are going to talk about the new Summer House Season 10 trailer. And wow, it looks like a marriage is imploding after a sketchy late-night incident with a fan, and a physical fight breaks out between lifelong friends. So it all centers on Kyle Cooke and Amanda Batula's relationship, which is in a total freefall. Amanda blames Kyle's partying, but the real bombshell is her telling Sierra Miller that Kyle fell asleep at some fan's apartment and came home at like 6:30 in the morning. Their fighting gets brutal. Kyle confronts her about their lack of compatibility, chemistry, and intimacy, and just admits, "I'm fucking losing my mind." All that stress then spills over onto his friendship with Carl Radke. Kyle screams "fuck you" at him and follows him outside, where things seem to get physical. Amanda has to tell the group he's not okay. And just to add fuel to the fire, a new guy, Ben Waddell, is super into Amanda. Kyle is left completely shocked when someone says Ben wants to definitely sleep with you. Meanwhile, Sierra Miller is caught between Jesse Solomon and West Wilson, sharing a tearful moment with West. Plus, Carl Radke is seen kissing a new cast member, Bailey Taylor. The new season premieres on Tuesday, February 3rd, so this was today's update about the explosive Summer House Season 10 trailer. Let's now move on to next update. Next, we are going to talk about that viral BravoCon incident that pretty much shocked fans. A leaked video showed Tom Sandoval and his girlfriend Victoria Lee Robinson in what looked like an intense argument with Lindsay Hubbard, with all this shouting captured on camera. But according to Kristen Dodd and Brittany Cartwright, the real cause of the drama was completely misunderstood. So Kristen confirmed that Tom and Victoria were apparently fighting all the time during the conference. This particular fight just blew up right in the hotel lobby, which was packed with fans, industry executives, and even heads of the network. Lindsay Hubbard saw this and decided to step in. She wasn't fighting with them, she was trying to stop it. She basically scolded Tom, telling him he was just making a fool of yourself and that he needed to stop creating drama. At that point, Victoria walked up to Lindsay and said, "I don't know you." Lindsay admitted that was fair, but she stood her ground that Tom really needed to stop. Brittany Cartwright explained that Lindsay was actually trying to defuse the whole thing since they were fighting so publicly. And Kristen added that Lindsay, who's a new mother, felt very maternal and felt compelled to school him as a mother because of his public behavior. So this was today's update about the BravoCon hotel lobby fight fallout. Let's now move on to the next update.
Next, we are going to talk about the shocking family drama surrounding Dr. Heavenly Kimes from Married to Medicine. Imagine finding out your son was arrested for serious charges, not from your husband, but from a random post on Twitter, years later. Well, that bombshell has led to a family crisis where Heavenly hasn't even spoken to her son in months. So here's what happened. Her son, Damon Kimes Jr., was arrested way back in February 2023. And the charge was for aggravated assault against a law enforcement officer. But Heavenly, who is now running for Congress, had no idea. Her husband, Dr. Damon Kimes, kept the whole thing a secret from her. He defended himself, saying he kept it private because he thought he could take care of the situation and wanted to protect the family. Heavenly strongly disagreed. She told him, "If I had to learn about my son being arrested on social media, what else is out there?" The discovery led to a huge conflict with her son, Damon Jr. Heavenly admitted she got too angry and used a lot of profanity when she heard the news. As a result, Damon Jr. just packed his things and left the house. Heavenly emotionally revealed she has physically not seen him in months and doesn't know where he is. Apparently, her son doesn't like this being a conversation and refused to film for the show. And to top it all off, her co-star Toya Bush-Harris brought up the arrest on camera. Heavenly felt respect is due and criticized Toya, saying she does not like to see anyone grow because she's stagnant.